Okay, I'm going to be reading from Revelation chapter 18. After this I saw another angel coming down from heaven. He had great authority, and the earth was illuminated by his splendor. With a mighty voice he shouted, "Fallen, fallen is Babylon the Great. She has become a home for demons, and a haunt of every evil spirit, and a haunt for every unclean and detestable bird. For all the nations have drunk of the maddening wine of her adulteries. The kings of the earth committed adultery with her, and the merchants of the earth grew rich from her excessive luxuries." Then I heard another voice from heaven say, "Come out of her, my people, so you will not share in her sins, so that you will not receive any of her plagues. For her sins are piled up to heaven, and God has remembered her crimes. Give back to her as she has given. Pay her back double for what she has done. Mix her a double portion for her own cup, or from her own cup. Give her as much torture and grief as the glory and luxury she gave herself. In her heart she boasts, 'I sit as a queen, I am not a widow, and I will never mourn.' Therefore in one day her plagues will overtake her. Death, mourning, and famine, she will be consumed by fire, for mighty is the Lord God who judges her. When the kings of the earth who committed adultery with her and shared her luxury see the smoke of her burning, they will weep and mourn over her. Terrified at her torment, they will stand afar off and cry, 'Woe, woe, O great city, O Babylon, city of power! In 1 hour your doom has come.' The merchants of the earth will weep and mourn over her because no one buys their cargoes anymore. Cargoes of gold, silver, precious stones, and pearls, fine linen, purple silk, and scarlet cloth, every sort of citron wood, and articles of every kind made of ivory, costly wood, bronze, iron, and marble. Cargoes of cinnamon and spice, of incense, myrrh, and frankincense, of wine and olive oil, of fine flour and wheat, cattle and sheep, horses and carriages, and the bodies and souls of men. They will say, 'The fruit you longed for is gone from you. All your riches and splendor have vanished, never to be recovered.' The merchants who sold these things and gained their wealth from her will stand afar off, terrified at her torment. They will weep and mourn and cry out, 'Woe, woe, O great city, dressed in fine linen, purple and scarlet, and glittering with gold, precious stones, and pearls. In 1 hour such great wealth has been brought to ruin.' And every sea captain and all who travel by ship, the sailors, and all who earn a living from the sea will stand afar off. When they see the smoke of her burning, they will exclaim, 'Was there ever a city like this great city?' They will throw dust on their heads, and with weeping and mourning cry out, 'Woe, woe, O great city, where all who had ships on the sea became rich through her wealth. In 1 hour she has been brought to ruin. Rejoice over her, O heaven. Rejoice, saints and apostles and prophets. God has judged her for the way she treated you.' Then a mighty angel picked up a boulder the size of a large millstone and threw it into the sea and said, 'With such violence the great city Babylon will be thrown down, never to be found again. The music of harpists and musicians, flute players and trumpeters will never be heard in you again. No workman of any trade will ever be found in you again. The sound of a millstone will never be heard in you again. The light of a lamp will never shine in you again. The voice of the bridegroom and the bride will never be heard in you again. Your merchants were the great men of the earth. By your magic spell all the nations were led astray. In her was found the blood of prophets and of all the saints and of all who have been killed on the earth. That's Revelation chapter 18. Now, considering the prophecy that I read in Revelation chapter 18, the destruction of Mystery Babylon, I think there's a couple really, really important points to glean from the text. One is, this vision of merchants, great merchants standing afar off, anybody who has shipping interests and mercantile interests, standing afar off because of fear of some kind of torment. Distance makes a difference when they're standing afar off in ships. And basically they're saying, who's going to buy our stuff? Who's going to buy our stuff anymore? And then there's a laundry list of all of the things. And generally speaking, it's symbolic of the mercantile, merchant, commercial interests of the earth being completely hurt by the destruction of this great city that is a consuming power. All of the luxury and all of the wealth of this great city. What this great city does in the prophecy is this is a consumption issue. This is a mercantile issue. This is a commercial issue. The merchants of the earth are standing afar off saying, who's going to buy our stuff? Because now all this luxury that this harlot, this Mystery Babylon was enjoying, buying from us, we were shipping into this. Now we're going to stand afar off and moan and groan and say, gosh, who's going to buy our stuff anymore? What happens to world trade now? I don't know. I know that there's a lot of popular opinion out there within prophecy circles, and this has been true for quite some time, that somehow Babylon is, false religion. There is so clearly an element, not even an element, but a central theme of a commercial reality with this Babylon in Revelation 18. It's almost inconceivable that would be missed. And the coincidence that the United States, that America is by far and away the most commercially active power in world history as far as consumption of goods made by other countries. If the market provided by the Western consumer that lives geographically in the United States were eliminated, the merchants of the earth would indeed stand afar off and say, "Oh, something's really wrong," because this has been the black hole into which we have poured all of our manufacturing and all of our commercial interests. America consumes more by far than any other power in the history of the world. As a matter of fact, if a history of America is ever written, one of the crucial elements of of the facts of America will be its ability to consume. That's a very, very big deal vis-a-vis the rest of the world. And the world would certainly be changed if the consuming power of the United States were suddenly in 1 hour eliminated. Certainly the symbolism in Revelation 18 would fit such a scenario. And the coincidental point to most of the things that are mentioned here and what I'm saying now is that there are clearly interests in the earth that would love to see America destroyed and the consumption power, the consuming power of America snuffed out. There's never also been, other than Israel, there's never been a country so hated by others, and where people right now are strategizing ways to bring America to its knees and to eliminate the market that exists for the rest of the world's goods. So it's ripening into something. I think that Revelation 18 is there's at least so far there hasn't been a country yet that meets the criteria that I see set out in Revelation 18. I can't imagine there being another country someday that meets or exceeds the consuming power of the American market provided to the world. We indeed live in more luxury than anyone else, and that luxury, that appetite for, all of the wonderful, manufactured items that can be produced both internally and externally. Our appetites have been by far and away the most significant of any culture in the history of the planet. Which, when you look at Babylon, you're looking at not only, it being fulfilled in America or the West, but you're looking at the idea of a commercial, mercantile, consuming, luxury-oriented population from the days of Nimrod to now, certainly from the days of Babylon to now, Rome, Greece, culminating now in the West and in the United States. It's all Babylon, right? I mean, it's all Rome, it's all Babylon, it's all spiritually, the same pride and arrogance and lust and covetousness and idolatry. What other civilization in history has had a Hollywood, or the kind of idol worship that we have in this country? Unfortunately, the candidates for what does Revelation 18 mean? I think the best candidate isn't that Revelation 18 is speaking of some kind of world false religion. I think it's more likely that Revelation 18 is talking about a event, perhaps in the future, near future, that eliminates the market for the world's products and then results in a forced implementation of another kind of world economic system not based on the consuming power of one country.